Good morning, everybody. This is Lorraine
and Jennifer, and today you're going to tell me why I should not have spent the last 6 years building my business. I should have just bought one.
Okay, so this piece of advice is not for everybody, but there is definitely an opportunity for people that you can grow and grow your business faster if you're willing to buy a business rather than building a business.
Roll the dice.
No. If you are thinking about starting a business and you think about how long it's going to take you to get up to speed, to build the systems, to find those first customers, you're going to burn through a certain amount of money doing that early stage work. And maybe for you, the alternative is, and this is how a lot of really wealthy people grow their wealth, because they're actually buying things with other people's money. And so if you do your homework, if you really research the company that you're going to buy, you really know what it is you're buying, using the resources that you were going to use for the first 6 months to build the business, to make that down payment, and then the revenue that's coming off the business after that pays both you and pays back that loan. At the end of a period of time, you now own a business that is light years ahead of where you would have been if you had struggled to build it on your own.
What are some things people should look out for?
Well, I think the first thing is you really need to know what you're buying. And I think this is where a lot of people get into trouble, is they don't do the due diligence. They don't really look at the financials. And this strategy is not just buying a business as your first business, but maybe you want to grow and you're looking at acquiring another company that does what you do, or acquiring a company that does something different. You need to look at the financials. You need to really look at the financials, not just that bottom line number, but where is the revenue coming from? Where are they bleeding money? Where are they making up for or compensating for weaknesses in their system? I think you need to look at their processes.
Yeah.
And figure out, does this work if you buy it and the owner goes away?
Yeah.
Can you run this business? And I think you need to look at, depending on if it's a service business. I mean, if it's a retail business, it's a little easier because I don't think the customers are maybe as dependent on the owner.
Yeah.
But if it's a personality driven business, if that personality goes away, does the business go away?
What about culture?
Absolutely. I think you need to figure out what it is that makes that company successful. And if you come into that mix, can you sustain the culture? If you've got 2 or 3 people that you think, you know what, we're going to buy this business and we're going to come in as a team and replace all these people, it can work.
But aren't you just starting over then?
But then you're starting over. And will the people stay if the owner is gone? And and what are you going to do to make it attractive for them to stay? Because on the other hand, particularly if you're buying a business, let's say tomorrow you decide, Jen, there's a little marketing company out there that's got 3 employees. They've got some nice customers and you're going to buy them. How do those 2 systems work together?
Right. Yeah. Who do you have on one team? Who do you have on another? Or is there going to be overlap? So back to like the due diligence. I think of, companies maybe that don't have a good profit and loss statement. And so like that in itself is like, okay, well, there's where some money's bleeding because they're not really watching where their money's at. But then you probably have to come up with alternative ways of maybe, I think there's a proposal stage where you
Mhm.
kind of like just like I think of this in a marriage where you're like getting to know the other people and seeing, oh, well, I see inefficiencies here, here, and there. I can't see it on the hard numbers of the profit and loss, but I can see it in how the business is being run.
Absolutely. And so when you're acquiring a business and you already have one, you've got some experience. And so as you're looking at, I think it's easier to look behind the numbers. But I think also if you're starting out, um, it's a great opportunity. And there's another thing. There are, depending on the business that you're in, franchises.
Yeah, I'm thinking of people getting in that have never run a business before, or they're unfamiliar with that type of business. What are the red flags there?
Well, I think if you've never run a business before and you think you're going to wake up tomorrow and run a business, you better take a few business courses. I I had a woman who came to me one time and she and I were working on her business plan and she had this idea. She wanted to open up a shoe store because she loved shoes.
Yeah.
She thought this was great. And in our first meeting, I said to her, Have you ever worked in a shoe store? Well, no, but I just know. Go for 6 months and go work in a shoe store, even if it's not the one you want to buy. Get a sense of what the operation is like from the bottom. And I think for someone who is starting a business who has never done this, if you're going to buy a business, you need to get more familiar with the inner workings. And like you said, have a much longer engagement to figure out, is
I
this
I
really what I want?
mhm. I did that. I did this exact thing.
Did
So
you?
I, was at a high ranking company or not high ranking company, but high ranking position for a long time. And I was trying to figure out if I wanted to own a business. But in that, I had a little mini business. My boss was in another area. And so I had to, profit, loss, all that, like running a business, but I wasn't really running it. Well, then I took a step back and went and worked at an actual marketing agency with the goal of figuring out whether or not I wanted to be a CMO, or I knew I wanted to do the actual marketing, or did I want to own a business? And so I got to sit back and kind of see all those parts. This is definitely hindsight 2020, like, or hindsight, like I wouldn't have, I don't think that I thought this way, but that's how I got where I am. It's not like I
Mhm.
planned it out that way, a little bit, but not as much as I'm like portraying it right now. It just all fell in place. And it was like, okay, that's how I got where I'm at.
Yes, but that opportunity, and I think that's really important because whether you're going to buy a business or do like you did from the ground zero, taking that opportunity to really learn what it takes to run that business before you jump into it and go, oh, look, I own a business. I think that's a really critical first step.
You don't do anything without building brick by brick. And before you know it, you have a wall.
Absolutely. I think the other thing is that you need to get very smart about money. You need to really understand where your money comes from, where it goes, how much it's going to take. And then when you have that, now you have opportunities. You can consider building or buying. And surprisingly, surprisingly, businesses that you might buy that might sell for two or $300,000 or even $500,000, you don't really need to have a lot up front.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I,
mean, it's not like you're going to do it with $50, but surprisingly,
yeah.
5 or 10% down and a payout plan that allows you to earn revenue from that business. And if the business is generating 50 or 60 in profit and you're paying 10 back on a loan,
You got to learn. I think one of the big, when you buy a business or run a business, if you just spend less than you make, then you're
That's a
going to
good
be
first
okay.
step. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, maybe buying a business is right for you. Maybe building a business is right for you. Maybe you need to talk to somebody about it. And now's a great time to have that conversation.
Going into 2024.
So, book some time with Jen and I. Let's talk about your business ideas for next year.
All right. Take care.
Bye now.
Bye.